Hey, yo, what is up, baby? It's your boy, DBGTX, and we are back with another Gundam roster breakdown session. That is right, we are here again, part 3. That is right, part 3. Today, we have a good lineup to go ahead and get through. And I think that we're going to go ahead and instead of doing 3 Gundams, we're going to do 4 in this part. And then the final part will be the final 4 Gundams that are remaining. That's what we got today. Today we have the lineup of the hasshimar, the GM Sniper, the Methis, and the Sazabi. Those 4 are going to be broken down here to a T. We're going to go ahead and speculate what kind of combinations they're going to have with their G maneuvers, of course. And then next video, the final Gundam roster video for the vanilla version of this game, the main roster, core roster, will be set, and then we'll have a final part, that is right, part 5, which is going to be a prediction of all of the Gundams that will be coming in, let's say for example, season 1 of this masterful piece of work of a game. So without further ado, without talking too much, make sure you hit the sub, the like, the share, continue coming through if you like this Gundam breakdown. If you like Gundam Evolution or you like Gundam whatsoever, this is where you want to be, right here on the channel, talking and discussing in the comment section. What's the next Gundam after all of these? What is going to be your favorite Gundam to use here? What are you disappointed about? What are you happy about in regards to this game being announced finally with the closed beta today, finalizing? Today is the final day to sign up for the closed beta, so please make sure you sign up for that. But what are your expectations? Do you guys think that this game will trump Overwatch in its own right? Or do you think that this might be a cash grab? I don't know. Personally, I think that that's for a separate video, obviously. But I want to hear you guys in the comment section, so that way I could go ahead and gather everyone's thoughts in regards to this particular game coming in before they actually release it. And then we could go ahead and have a full video discussion where I could go ahead and compare the 2 games, the 2 juggernauts of a game that are about to come out side by side of each other. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, something that I want to put out there. So please, let's go ahead and talk it up in the comment section. Let me know what's your favorite Gundam. What do you think you're looking forward to in this game? And what are you not looking forward to, if anything, in regards to this game in the comment section? Let's get it. All right, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this. The first Gundam that we have out of the 4 Gundams that we're going to be talking about is the NRX-044. That is the hasshimar. Obviously, it comes from the Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam series. If you haven't watched Zeta Gundam, I believe that is the official second series. The first Transformable Mobile Gundam capable of self-sustaining flight within the Earth's atmosphere. So that's probably going to be a G maneuver. I'm letting you guys know right now that that's probably going to be a G maneuver. Now, the hasshimar is stated that it's going to be a 3-star level difficulty character. It is going to be a mid-range character. It does have 1,000 HP, which kind of worries me for being mid-range, because generally what ends up happening here is he either has something to be able to stay on the battlefield a long time, which is like some kind of defensive stopgap / recovery method, or you got to be skilled to use this mobile suit. This is a high output mobile suit with possibly just as much damage output as well. So that means that your defense is going to be very low, but your offense is going to be extremely high with fast maneuverability, which generally is a really good recipe. Here we have a dash limit of 2, and this is the first time you see this tag right here called the Transformable Unit, which means that it can change shapes from going from one thing to the other. Again, like I mentioned before, it tells it in its informational kit. It does transform, so I think it was going to be part of the actual maneuvering and all that stuff. Now here we have the weapons and arsenals and skills. So here in the weapons, arsenal, skills, we have the main weapon, which is the large beam rifle. as a large beam rifle works exactly like the Spartan gun in Halo. That is right. Burst action, taking 3 tacks, very, 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 very steady from hip action on top of that. And ultimately, it comes with 21 bullets of burst. Recovery time is not being shown in the video. This is probably going to be one of the more used Gundams in the game, just based off the fact that if you can get the handle of the maneuverability and being able to, let's say, get in on the action without getting destroyed simultaneously by all your opponents attacking you all at once or aiming at you, you don't want to be the lead guy here. That's basically what I'm trying to say. You can be in the frame, but don't be the lead guy. So now let's go over to the sub weapon. In the sub weapon, you have the charge shot. The charge shot, as you guys can see here, when used, it takes about 4 tacks of damage, but mixed in with the 0 accuracy loss of the main weapon, included in the charge shot, you can easily dispose of a lot of Gundams and take out a lot of Gundams, take out a lot of units in a matter of seconds. Just from going from regular shot to charge shot to another barrage of regular shots with the I'm just gonna call it the Spartan gun. You can easily go and take 7 ticks in one combo just off the mix of these 2 main weapon and sub weapon. Now the G maneuver, like, it's a straightforward, it's called a punch apparently. So charge forward for a short time, deflecting attacks from the front for the duration. It deals damage, knockback is done to all enemies you pass through. I thought that the G maneuver would be considered the transformation, but I guess it may end up being an active skill. Let's check that out. Here we are, basic rundown of what's going on. If there is a blitz of people or there's a group of people, you can use this particular technique in order to bulldoze them. It's very similar. It's very, very similar to the Dom Troopers charge attack. But the only difference is that this one, you cannot control it as well. So when you use the punch, it will go straight forward. It will not turn, as you guys can see there in the video. The guy is going straight, whereas to the Dom Trooper was able to navigate and twist and turn and get into a crevice. And even though it was longer, obviously in parallels it's longer. In that sense, the Dom Trooper's charge attack is way longer than this. There's no maneuverability on this. And on top of that, your boost dashes are locked. Your boost dashes are locked when you're using this technique. So you're pretty much stuck going in a straight line. If you miss and don't hit the target that you're aiming for, it can leave you wide open. So there's just the give and takes. But of course, you being able to reflect and deflect bullets that are coming from the front, that's definitely a massive, massive defensive maneuver. You can use this character simultaneously alongside the Dom Trooper, alongside the Marasai, and pretty much any of these units are not feeling like the tag that they're being given. And that's something that's very important going forward or going into it. Each unit feeling like it's not the tag being given gives you that variety and that spice of life. I can use this character as a mid-ranger. I could use this character as a long support. I could use this character as a barrage specialist to allow my teammates to back me up. And that's the beauty of the way that so far all the units that I mentioned have been set up and built up. Now let's go over to the active skill 1. Here we have the transformability. The transformability, like I mentioned from the actual title, from their actual sourcing stuff, allows you to go ahead and change your body into a disc shape and basically get out of town. That's the best way to explain it. Now, it does have a time limit, so you can't just stay in that shape. And there's also a nerf where if you use the napalm grenades, like it says here in the actual description, it changes your body back to the original Gundam body. So look at this as like one of the Transformers, more than meets the eye kind of thing. If you're in the long range or the mid range, a lot of the times, if you have a bigger body, you're going to get hit with those particular weapons or those particular shots. With this particular transformation being in this shape, your hitbox is way smaller, thus allowing you to be able to get away from issues or problems if you're surrounded by the enemies or you need to make a quick escape. Second skill here is called the Napalm Grenade. The Napalm Grenade throws an incendiary grenade on the floor, which spreads out in a medium area. This is a circumferential area, even though in the front it looks like it's just going to the side. It's simple burn damage. It goes by ticks, and it takes up to 4 ticks by staying in the middle of it, as you guys see on the screen. This is used, of course, to go ahead and cause an effective amount of damage, let's say with the punch attack. So if you hit your opponent with a punch, throw an incendiary grenade, start blasting them. Easy way to go ahead and get multiple units knocked out in very fast fashion. And that's honestly where they're going with this. Now, does it do anything else? No, not at all. It does not stun the character. It does not stun the units. And that's it in total review. So in the main weapon, we have the large beam rifle taking 3 ticks. Easy, no accuracy loss in the mid-range. No stagger, of course. The sub weapon here is the charge shot. The charge shot will go ahead and take 3 ticks immediately. It does have a recharge down there, but mixed in with the main weapon plus the charge shot, easily take 7 bars of damage in one fell swoop. To be honest, this is the most important thing of the unit, using the punch maneuver to be able to go ahead and cause stagger to the character. Allows you to combine any of the other movesets that he has here, from the main weapon to sub weapon to the napalm grenade, which causes incendiary damage. Even having to get out of town or Forrest Gump it in that sense, if you need to get out of there by transforming. It all starts with the punch maneuver and getting in the right angle to stun your enemies, and then moving in to do massive damage. Now that we're done there, let's go over to the GM Sniper. And in the GM Sniper, honestly, there's not much to talk about. I said this in the video. Sniper's a sniper. You're gonna have a lot of things to basically help you like see your enemies, contain your enemies in that sense from the long range. But there's gonna be things that is going to allow you to not say get up close and personal, but allow you to get away from the enemies and help and assist building your kill streak. So here we are, long range HP 800 is the first long range unit in the game that we've talked about. An offshoot of the GM, as you guys can see, developed by the Federation forces during the last day of the 1-year war, with specs on par with the RX-78 Gundam. And War in the Pocket has one of the best sets of units in Gundam history, to be honest. And there's another Gundam that's probably going to be coming from that series, so stay tuned. I will be mentioning it in the future. I won't mention it here because if I do, then it's kind of gonna ruin the whole surprise. But stay tuned, because War in the Pocket has a lot of good Gundams that definitely can make the cut in this game as unique Gundams. So here we go. Sniper rifle. At the main action, extremely powerful long-range rifle with severely limited accuracy when not used with the scope. So if you don't use the scope, it will miss. But aiming down the scope, one shot will disable a Gundam like the Barbatos, for example. Now, the sub action is to look down the rifle scope to gain perfect accuracy. So, essentially, it's a sniper. I explained that. I'm not going to go ahead and get into too much details in regards to how a sniper works. The G maneuver, moving on, is a sensor visor. The sensor visor allows you to go ahead and see your characters through the wall. I mentioned this with the Pale Rider as well. I think the Pale Rider has the exact same thing, but We're gonna go ahead and find out pretty soon. The Sensifizer allows you to see through walls, allows you to see who's around you. So when you use it, you can go ahead and gain the advantage against the opponent by knowing their location. Honestly, it's something that's definitely gonna be important, especially for those who will be playing the GM Sniper. Now, let's go over to the active skill. The active skill has a jump booster. Place a device that boosts units into the air. So, here's the assistance, like I mentioned beforehand. So if you need to make a quick escape, or you need to go ahead and get to a certain area that's hard to get to, for example, if you need to get to a higher ground that only you can gain access to by doing one of these jump boosts, that gives you the advantage, because from that high point, let's say for example, there could be a high point in the game where, yes, it's kind of pushing you to say, hey, you're a sniper, camp, and don't be in the middle of action. Obviously, there are people who know how to use snipers and will go around and, quick scope and do things like that. So we're not gonna get into those details. But this is the part of the campiness where they're telling you, hey, if you need to get to a place where nobody else can really get to, because obviously everybody else can't get to a higher place like this is how you go about it. If you use the jump pack or you hop on it, it automatically refreshes. So you're able to use a jump pack after a jump pack once you use the jump pack. Interesting to see how many bunny hops people are going to be having to get to different stages of the levels, getting into very cramped areas where you can barely get a shot in from the bottom, and only other GM snipers and high flyers are going to be the only ones that are going to get there. This makes this character's maneuverability that much better. Of course, with one dash boost, terrible. But hey, when you can take out almost all the enemy units with one shot, what do you want? What do you expect? Now here is the active skill 2. It's called the Vulcan Pod. These are like small mounted guns, either on the head of the actual unit or on the shoulders of the unit, but they're used for short range and close quarter combat. And honestly, the thing about this is used essentially for when you get spotted. So when someone sees you and you're running away and they get too close, you can use this particular active skill to take half a bar of damage. That is right, to take 6 tacks of damage if you catch them with the Vulcan pods. But it doesn't stagger them. It doesn't stop them from trying to swing off you. It doesn't stop them from trying to hit you. You got to understand that this is essentially like, oh, I got these guys halfway down, they're close to me, let me boing, jump back and take them out, like that kind of stuff. It's not for you to sit there and think that you're gonna be Rambo and continue trying to fight a Barbatos in close quarter, because that man finna swing off you once and your unit is going to last but not least, recovery gun. So revive a disabled ally from long range. This is important. So this is the second unit that has a recovery gun, or somewhat of a recovery. Very important to point out there that the gun tank is another one. This is amazing. I love it. The long range sniper is also a healer. It's not something that I guess in a way it kind of goes hand in hand, but this perfectly is the blend of kind of things that you want from your sniper. Bro, imagine you blasting dudes from across the field, boom, 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 right? Doing your thing, and then the next thing you know, you see somebody, the dude that they just took out, you revive him, and dude comes out, and takes out the dude that just took him out. Amazing. I love this unit because it's straightforward, it's simple. If you like sniper rifles, COD, you like pretty much playing the long range game, this is essentially true for you. And there's not much things that you're gonna have to look forward to in regards to learning how to, swing and things like Spider-Man or do anything like that. It's just a straightforward GM sniper. The third character that we have here, going on to the next one, have to move a little bit faster. We're moving faster through this, is the Metis, MSA-0005. Now, the Metis is also a transformable unit. So this is a mid-range unit with very low HP, but it has 2 dash limits. Easy to handle thanks to a simple transformation mechanism, but it plays very good support. Weapons and skills, let's move forward. So here we have the arm beam guns. The arm beam guns are rapid fire pair of mid-range guns with 0 accuracy loss. So from the mid-range, the combination of the hasshimar with this particular Gundam is going to be a problem. Whew. I don't know how they're gonna do this one, but this is one of the Gundams that if you're not good at moving around, you're gonna lose a lot. Now you take a lot of damage, believe it or not. With these guns, you're taking a shit ton of damage. But there are things that I always explain, that if the opponent is not being staggered by the guns that you have, they can easily just keep shooting at you as well. So they may have a unit that doesn't take as much damage as you, but you will never be alone on the battlefield. And that is something that's very important to understand in these kind of games, is that you're not going to be fighting these people one-on-one. To understand that every time you run into one person, you're more than likely going to run into 2-3 out of the 6 players that are on the map, because it's team-based. Next thing we have is the repair cable. The repair cable is straightforward. As I'm in the middle of battle, if my unit is battling another unit, I can use this to start recovering their health in the middle of the fight. I can also maneuver with it, so that doesn't mean that you have to stay still. You can actually move around and still able to shoot your other opponents, which is a really cool feature. Yes, you require a line of sight in order to maintain it, as it's mentioned right there. Really good mix. Mixing this with the Turn 8 Gundam's Spartan healing ability that it had, could be a perfect 1-2 punch in the game, and something to really look out for when we get the closed beta going. Next, we have the energy cable. The energy cable grants an ally temporary burst of extra power, causes them to deal more damage and take less damage. This is considered a mid-range support. Mid-range support means that this character buffs, debuffs, and does things like that in order to enhance the other squad members. So in this sense, the energy cable here, for example, when I go ahead and electrocute my character, when my character does damage, instead of him taking 2 attacks, he's going to take 4. Instead of him taking 1, he's going to take 2. Those things are going to be very important in regards to how, in regards to when certain units are on the battlefield. For example, if you are locked in with the GM sniper alongside this unit, then what ends up happening is that you can use this technique every 10 seconds or so, give and take, and every shot that GM sniper takes is a one-hit kill. That's just an example of how deadly this combination can be as a support to other casts and other characters. This can be dangerous, especially when newer units come out, units that like can do a G maneuver. For example, we talk about like the Burning Gundam. If the Burning Gundam reaches this game as a close quarter specialist, this guy attached to the hip and seeing someone use the burning finger, which more than likely will be a charged thrust attack, that's it taking 4 or 5 attacks of damage, you can easily disable a lot of units. Let's move on. Active skill 1 allows you to transform into a mobile armor and allows you to fly to cover a short distance. It also gives you a hover feature. So that's another cool thing, that when you transform, it allows you to hover for a short amount of time, allowing you to be able to go ahead and get some extra damage in before you drop. You're able to use your primary weapons as well when you're flying, so you don't have to worry about not having an attack or anything like that. Unlike the hasshimar, where if you transform into the disc and you use the Nepal Grenades or any kind of weapons, it immediately transforms you back to your original state. So it's something to look out for. Now, The twin shot, oh, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous. This is spicy. So the twin shot allows you to go ahead and use a long range beam from both arms. So it's not a thing where it's two separate bullets or whatever. It just covers a medium range area just within the scope of the shot. So if you're within the shot's range or within the two cannons, it's going to hit you. That's the bottom line. If you spot the opponent from across the field, you can go ahead and use this, transform, get into the range, start shooting them, drop down, and these are just combinations, link up that you can do with the active skills. To be honest, this is this is the all-around unit. I mean, if you can get all of this out of it and you can sit back and let everybody else do a lot more of the work in the sense of your build. I mean, you can take damage and you can do some heavy damage, but being in the battlefront, this is not it. This is not it. This definitely is a unit to help other units, and if you build the chemistry with your partners, you can have this unit out there a long time, making everybody make W's, rack up W's. Active skill 3 is a gun turret. So you throw a gun turret on the floor, it'll start shooting the other characters. Wow. Just wow. So yeah, it's a good setup. It's a good setup unit. Good setup unit. This is what I mentioned earlier. Here you have an active skill that places the gun turret in front of you, and then you take 2 tags per shot, and you take 2 shots per second. This is where this unit comes into the fray. Like I said, in the middle of a battle, assisting is where it's at. You're throwing these down, you throwing cables, you moving around. This is a unit to move around with. It's not a unit to sit still. This guy will get taken out fast, but you do have a lot of things to basically do a massive amount of damage. And that's really the gist of it. The gist of it is that this guy is set up to help other characters and to deal massive amount of damage in short bursts. That's how you want to use this character. That's how this character was set to be used. I'm hyped to use, I'm pretty much hyped to use every single one of these units in different forms, in different ways, besides what the tag is stating there, because I could use this as a healer. I could use this as a long range auxiliary. I could use this as a mid-range specialist. I'm not gonna get into close range, I can tell you that, but I could definitely mix and match my playing style with just one unit and not have to think like, well, everything is set up for me to continue doing it this way. Some dope shit, you know? Some really dope shit. So shout out to the Gundam Evolution crew for actually building upon their promise to give us some competitive Gundam games here right now. So now here we have the MSN-04. This is the Sazabi, of course, one of the favorite Gundams of all time by a lot of people. A lot of people love this Gundam. This is Char's Gundam. As you guys can see it down there, Mobile Suit Gundam, Char's counterattack. The Sazabi is an amazing Gundam. Amazing Gundam. Iconic Gundam on top of that. As you guys can read, this is a close range. What? This is a close ranged mobile suit. It has 1400 HP, 1 dash limit, and it has a shield that has 1600. Bro, did y'all just see that video right up here? How he just hit him and dash? That's amazing. Now, maneuverability is probably going to be the crazy thing about this one. It's more than likely going to be semi-slow, but take it for what it's worth. If you have 1600 shield plus, this is the tank. This is the tank. The tank. This is the tank. Main action, you have a close range scatter shot weapon, right? That generally means that it's like a shotgun, basically. In the Then the sub one has you lay out your shield, so that way the shield is taking you, the shield is taking the damage instead of your health bar. And then after that, you could get in and take massive amount of damage with the shotgun spray as well. But the thing is that when you're doing the sub action and putting the shotgun on top of the shield, right? What ends up happening is it steadies the gun. So the spray, instead of going outward so much, it's actually focused, which makes it concentrated level, as you guys can see in the video here, taking way more damage. Here at close range, you take about 4-5 tacks, but when you do it like this, it automatically still takes 5 tacks when you're doing it with the shield in the front. Next, we have the G maneuver, which is called the funnels. I mentioned this in the video before. The funnels go everywhere, all over the place, attacking everything that's on screen. So if you have one unit, it will attack that one unit. It will go ahead and pretty much barrage that one unit. But if you have multiple units all over the place, it's going to help mitigate damage to the rest of your team. It does cause a little bit of stagger, not much. The characters will still be moving, but continuous assault from multiple points on pretty much barrages, and of course your teammates also attacking. This is going to cause a lot of problems. A lot of problems. It's going to be crazy because a lot of I don't know. To be honest, when I see this, I sit there and think like, yo, how often are people going to be dying, and what's the score like going to be here? Because these Gundams all take a massive amount of damage with just their own weapons. So I'm thinking that your playtime being on the field is going to be very dependent on not only your skill set, but very, very heavily dependent on your partner's healing and your partners being able to keep you on the field. Because a lot of these Gundams, obviously you're not going to be able to use all of them at the same time, but a lot of these Gundams have techniques that take chunks of health, and combining them could equal 3 Gundams immediately getting knocked out of the fray, like within seconds of encountering the opponent. So the homing boost is a weird active skill. So essentially how it works is the following. If you toss a Tomahawk towards your enemy or ally, what it does is it does like a magnet pull, move faster. It's a maneuverability kind of thing. If you toss the Tomahawk towards your enemy, it'll hit the enemy, strike the enemy for tax, and you're allowed to come on in order to get in to the action and take damage right there. Not only that, but you can also use this as kind of like the Spider-Man mechanism that I mentioned once in the blue, and toss the Tomahawk against walls, against side crates, against things like that. So if you're looking like you're about to get caught up or wrapped up by the opponent, you can easily use the Tomahawk to get up out of there. Next, we have the active skill 2, which is the Beam Tomahawk. The Beam Tomahawk is essentially just a throwing knife. Not gonna get into too much of that. It does take 4 attacks of damage. You can use the Beam Tomahawk one way or another. Again, these are 2 separate skills. There is the hook skill, and then there is the Beam Tomahawk. They are used separately, and you can use both of them to hit the opponent. Yes, you can use both of them to hit the opponent. Last but not least is the enemy search. The enemy search here allows you to be able to see obstacles through the walls. The enemy precision on top of that, which is something that I mentioned before, and be able to keep track of the enemy. In this video, it does show you that you can point the enemy out and tell where the enemy is at when you use the skill. And then when you use that skill, you could see them through the walls, so on and so forth. Now, let me be clear. This works very different than the GM Sniper's Visors. The GM Sniper's Visors, you can activate it and see things through the wall. This one homes in on the opponents. If you see the opponents, you can use it. And then by doing so, for the remaining remaining time that you are either alive or the skill is active, more than likely, as you guys can see there, where it's not disappearing down here in the bottom corner, that means that as long as you're alive and you tag those two or tag the enemy units with that skill, you're going to be able to see them on the map. It's very different than the other skill. You have to see the enemy first, and from that point forward, the enemy is visible on your map either until you get knocked down or disabled, or until the tracking mechanism, which probably lasts about 10 seconds or so, shuts down, and then there's more than likely a recharge. Amazing mechanism, gives you variety. This Gundam right here won't just be a problem. I think that this Gundam is the problem. A Gundam like this, we're gonna see it on the field. We definitely are going to see it on the field, not only by the nostalgia men and women out there, but because of what it has to offer. And personally, might be one of the Gundams that I use the most, because I'm a type of person that likes to get up close and personal. Maybe this Gundam game will make me use the sniper more often, because the sniper is hyped. The sniper game in this game is hyped. Hype. But ultimately, this is one of the Gundams that I've been looking forward to talk about, because I definitely wanted to know what was coming, and I am very satisfied with this Gundam. And that's it. That's all I got, guys, in this video. If you guys did enjoy that, please make sure you go ahead and hit the sub, the like, the share. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, let's discuss all our Gundam, our favorite Gundams, in the comment section as we move forward to part 4, the final part of these videos. As we move into the final part of these video breakdown, and then we go ahead and give you guys a final video where we compare Overwatch 2 versus Gundam Evolution. That is right. 2 juggernauts are going to go ahead against each other, not only this summer, but for the next foreseeable future, with these games obviously releasing new characters, new content, and all that good stuff. Which game will come out on top? Which game has the bigger fan base? Which game can make it to Evolution and make that Evolution to be called the #1 FPS of 2K22? Will it be Gundam? Will it be Overwatch? Because obviously it's not going to be COD. So leave it at that. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out.